Hello there guys, thank you for always watching the Benjamin Zulu show. Once again, welcome to this beautiful show, a show that has one aim. The aim is to make you wiser than you were yesterday, and I hope you do, because you have always gotten wisdom from one Benjamin Zulu. Now today, we have a very interesting discussion, by the way. What are the telltale signs that whoever you are living with is a killer? That is what Benjamin today is going to demystify, to equip you so that you can be able to discern. You are able to tell that this guy is a danger zone. How do you tell that the one you are living with is a killer? How are you, Benjamin?
I'm good. And you know, we have had a lot of manhunt, you know, for ladies suspected of killing two people in one day, two men, in cold blood.
Yeah.
And showing no remorse. One of the CCTV, she's just watching her hand and going.
Exactly.
And before that, we had other cases that were chilling. A young man in the university went and annihilated his family.
Yeah.
In cold blood. And on court proceedings and whatever, he's just cold, just there. And by the way, not he had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
It is these lovers who live with people who have such potential to kill that we want to warn today.
Okay.
You may not read the world of all psychological people. You may not have so much power, but you can protect yourself. So we're not giving you a tool to carpet the whole world and get rid of all psychologically sick people. We want to give you sandals to cover your own feet. It's easier to cover your own feet with the sandals than to carpet the whole world. Self-preservation is your first priority. All right. So there are three types of psychologically disturbed people, psychologically twisted, psychologically abnormal, disordered people. So there are three types of personality disorders you want to hear. When I hear personality, don't be confused. Psychology has too many. Every field has technical language. And they can write things that you don't. So I want to minimize how many words I'm using so that we don't lose people.
Yeah.
So although we call them personality disorders, don't ask me the difference between personality disorders and psychological disorders. They are technical.
Okay.
For now, just here, the first people is narcissistic personality disorder. Then we have sociopath, antisocial personality disorder. We call them sociopath. And then we have psychopath. All right. Now, one of the things I want you to know is we have discussed narcissists a lot because they are a menace in relationships.
Yeah.
They occur more frequently, but they are undercover. These are people who can be a person like me, charming, talking to you here, but in private life, they torment their lovers. Why? They need to bully and extract. They are abnormal inside. They don't have potential to love. In fact, the word narcissist comes from that Greek youth called Narcissus, who saw a reflection of an image, a picture in water, and he loved it so much in a pool. He loved it, fell in love, but then he realized it was his own reflection. So he could not consummate the love, and he despaired and drowned and died. It's a caption of what narcissism means. Self-absorption, self-love. Despair, no self-control. All right? So narcissists are those people who are self-absorbed and emotionless. They only put on emotions for purposes of getting what they want. They are there in workplace and they wreak havoc. If you have a narcissistic boss who is, you know, narcissism, because you see a lot of jealousy, pettiness, a lot of fits of rage. You will know you're dealing with a narcissist when they can swing from being charming and polite to chiding and berating and looking like, and you know, talking down and causing tension in the office and looking like they are going to blast and harassing all of you, and they storm out. Or they go and sleep. Somebody told me the boss comes and quarrels when a sale does not go through. They're also very greedy, selfish, extremely greedy, and pretentious. They pretend, and they're very inhuman. A friend of mine was telling me that they sell houses, and this guy, people, you buy houses, but you tell you the papers are still being processed. I'll give you later. You harass you with the papers for a year, for 2 years. People be traveling from very far to come for the titles, and they're not given. They say, okay, we are in the completion of plan.
Yeah.
Handover. So they're still building. They will not complete. They will. He enjoys harass. He eats the money, and then he will. So narcissism is about no feeling, no reliability, selfishness, bullying, harassing. In personal relationships, they are a menace. They are very many. That's why we discuss them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's your parents, sometimes it's your boss, it's your mother, it's your sister. Narcissism is widespread. And again, the only cure is to be aware, to identify it. On the road, you can identify a reckless driver and give way and avoid trouble, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can tell the way this person is moving, they are not okay. Let me leave them alone. The second category called sociopath. People have antisocial personality disorder. As the name sounds, their disorder is more in social setup. They don't get along with the people. They are very aggressive, argumentative. But the one identifying feature is they don't hold a family and they can't hold a job. Usually, they can't hold a family. They can't even get to marriage, or they break up. They can't hold a job. They quarrel everyone, kick everyone. Their disorder is very visible. And actually people avoid them. They're very obnoxious, argumentative. They antagonize everyone. We used to have these public interviews and then you find a journalist going to interview a person. The person squares you up, starts harassing you, and you journalists, you come across this a lot because you interview a lot of people, and you find a person who does not have that courtesy, respect to converse. They corner you, they put you down, and you're the journalist, and you are just an agent asking them to talk to people. But they now narrow it on you to harass you. You know, sociopaths are easy to understand. Now, the problem with the sociopath is this: eventually they deteriorate more and more. They lack conscience and they lack the empathy. They lack the ability to control themselves, and they're explosive. That's why we identify them easily. Many of them end up in prison, they end up in jail system, rehab centers. Where does this come from? All of these psychological disorders have causes. Many of them are rooted in the environment of growing up. Many of them are rooted in person's attitude. Many of them are not just called people. You can simply choose, instead of working your way into winning people, you'll be bullying them because it seems easier for you. All right. The third category, which is what I want to warn you about, is called now psychopaths. Let me differentiate. The sociopath that cannot pretend. Are we together? Sociopaths are visible. You know a few. The more I describe, you can think of a few people. Sociopaths you can identify because they are obnoxious. You can't even converse. Everybody avoids them. They look like a hippo. You know, they swing this way, swing that way, quarrel this, quarrel the other, and they can hardly keep a job. Usually they run their own small businesses here and there, or they move from one job to another, and they're very difficult to deal with. All right? Those are people with antisocial personality disorder, which has many scales. Some can be severe, moderate, and all that. Many of you find that many people will tell you, my parent abandoned. I can tell that was a sociopath. The parent abandoned. My mother can hardly get along with anyone, harassing people, causing chaos here. My dad is this way. You know, they're very violent. They end up, usually they get in trouble with the law. I've seen a lot of sociopaths on the road. You can tell this one, it's on a, and they get some satisfaction from causing trouble. Now, psychopaths are the most dangerous. And these are the killers that have been causing chills across the country. Why? Because as opposed to sociopath, a psychopath can live, can pretend. The thing is this: why are they? Path means sick. Why are they psychologically sick? It's like short form of pathology, sickness. They have no conscience. Psychopaths have that human element of feeling for another, thinking ahead. It's almost lacking. But they can pretend for long and live a normal life to achieve their goals. Follow the following traits and you learn to identify them quickly. They calculate ahead and they can do plans for 10 years. They can plan for 20 years. They can calculate as long as they want the money, they want the job, they want the woman, they want the man. They can calculate for their goal and they can fake. They can feign affection. But the following are the distinctions, which are very easy to identify when you know them, but people don't know them. Love is very shallow. Please notice that. their connection, the emotional care is very shallow. It's very conditional. You annoy them, they behave like they don't even care. But under normal circumstances, they will show up, you'll have a good time, you're good. But at the moment's like trigger, they change to something else. So one thing, once you realize the connection with the person is shallow, they can't cry because of you. They cannot look hard depressed. Okay. Please be very careful, because we tend to think these people who don't get stressed by love are strong. That's the misconception we have in society. Yeah. Because the police, the military, they have brought this concept of being almost hard emotionally. Yeah. The training they go comes here hard. Some of those trainings also bring a lot of psychopaths, by the way. I need to warn you. Some of these professions, because of their nature of training, they attract people who wanted power and weapons. Psychopaths like armed professions. That's not the only place you find them. But they enjoy them because they find, if you study the history of psychopaths, if you study documentaries, people have tried to do documentaries. They are found among police, the army, the prison system, criminals where they can find guns, and all right, or a person who can, like that boy who was killing the family. He did not have weapons, but he's still too young. Yeah. What if? I'll tell you why they usually come to kill. They suppress the urges for long, but at some point it's like they're overwhelmed by the urge. You may not understand it, but they get some satisfaction from dominating fully and killing. There's something they derive out of that. A pervasive sense of control, dominance. You know? I'll also tell you about how they take that to sexual urges, how they rape. To control, to dominate, to. Have you heard of things? See, you can't wrap your head around it. Now, welcome to the world of psychopaths. Psychologically disordered. All right? So one sign is people whose love is very shallow. Number two, people are pathological liars. People lie repeatedly, even when there is no need. You know, people lie. Wonder why was the difference between the lie and the truth here? Surely. You're in a vehicle, one person is called, they say, we are in Roysampo. Another one says we are in Savi. Another says we are Vic. And you're in the same vehicle, all of you. Where is the vehicle exactly? You're reporting different places. Be careful, Bramwell, to not lie when there is no need. Circumstances sometimes may force you to avoid mentioning the fact for your own reasons. And I don't promote it, I don't encourage it. Many people find themselves edging with the truth, avoiding to expose, because there are sometimes when not telling the truth is wisdom, it's not deception. Yeah. But when you find a person who pathology means the kind of lying that is out of the normal. They lie on top of a lie. You ask them, how come you told me you met so and so, and they're saying they did not see you today? Oh, sorry, I had met the brother, I thought it was him. Which brother? Oh, not that one. In fact, he's a neighbor. A person who lies repeatedly until you can't see the reason behind the lie. The other thing is a person who shows no remorse. A person who will never say sorry. A person who will never show sadness that they hurt you. Don't take that lightly. Because I see people writing it in text. There's a guy who said the wife has never said sorry for 11 years of marriage. Yeah. Narcissists also don't apologize. The difference between narcissists, a big reason, difference between narcissists and psychopaths is that narcissists are internally very weak and they need to bully you to live, to find energy to live. Psychopaths have a desire to kill. The abuse caused by narcissists eventually can lead to death. But they may not kill you directly. Psychopaths are on a different trajectory. They feel a need. It's like a score. Have you heard of that weird case where this psychopath was carrying the skull of the person he had killed, like a trophy? Are you getting it now? It's like they derive. Be careful with people who find horror movies entertaining. What is funny about a person being killed?
There's nothing funny.
What is it? Do you know you can actually orient? You can bring up psychopathic qualities in yourself. Some of these things you can learn yourself. If you buy your children toys that involve guns, if you orient your children to skulls, involve your children to horror. What are you training them for? Does life operate like that? And all the computer game they're playing is shooting, killing, sucking the life, scaring things. Which world is that? And now you said you are bored, and the way to entertain yourself is to watch serial killer documentary. Things that are terrifying. Be very careful. You could be ended in a direction that your conscience is being smeared with a hot iron. Remember what makes a psychopath is a conscience is absent. They don't feel like a human being. You've heard of the Naivasha vampire.
Yeah.
You would suck the blood. Those are psychopaths. They feel a need to suck the life out of you so they can feel their charge. You must not underestimate a person who you can go a year and another one and they never say sorry and they look like a stone. They look like a stone. And as I told you, some professions encourage emotional dryness as if it's a strength. And maybe their profession, their work requires it for them to be tough in front of challenges. When guns are blaring, you don't lose your cool, you don't collapse, you must be strong. The military might need that in the front line. And you might find that people come to think looking like this is not anything. Somebody is crying that you are not even feeling it. You have hurt somebody and you're feeling nothing. Psychopaths feel nothing and they look like a grey rock. Now, the other thing is cunning. If you find a person who is deceptive, one thing you want to know about psychopaths is many of them, they cannot have sex and enjoy it normally. It's a tool. They do it for another purpose, to get into your life. Remember, some of these men who are being killed were suspected of having an affair with a killer.
Yeah.
She is using sexual affair to bring you in, to finish you. And she could even be married. There's another sign about psychopaths. They usually have a soft spot. They love a person. There's a person they pick and they love in their own twisted way. In fact, when the police look for psychopaths, they start by looking for a person that person has a soft spot for. Usually it's a lover or a child or a friend who they have a soft spot for. Eventually, when they are apprehended and taken to prison, they also develop usually an attachment to one of the officers. They try to see who has connected friendship with them. They will confess everything to that one. They usually have their own way of loving a person who they will protect, imagine. That's why they can go around killing people and they have their own home. They're killing children and they have their children. They're killing men and they have their own. They're killing women and... Do you see it? These are split. Because if you have your own woman, why would you kill another person's woman? Don't you think how they will feel? We would think a person who is killing people cannot have a family. No, this person has a family they go home to. In fact, they can conduct their criminal life for years. And they join the investigating party. It was said that the officer they are looking for, the lady they're looking for, when they showed some places and she was seen in uniform, people were shocked because they knew another life of her that cannot be police.
Yeah.
When you study, you see that trait in psychopaths in a very strong way. In fact, one of the things I was studying, trying to understand, you see a village that was terrorized by mysterious murders. Somebody is murdered in a similar way. Murder, no robbery, no nothing. They just kill and go. Kill. So the police would spend days upon days looking for the killer, only to realize the killer is among them. It's a psychopath, it's also a police. And because they're inside the system, that's why they're having a difficulty tracking this one, because they're looking for one of their own. And then she knows the dragnet, but eventually I know she'll run out of money. Money is one thing you need to keep running. So it will run out. They will set dragnets maybe on the ATMs or money systems. Most likely that's where they will put traps. Get to see the accounts and put observers to see where you withdrew. Actually, when they trail criminals, they check money transactions. Where you bought this, where you paid this, where you paid this, they track the money transactions. Now, sometimes this person could kill. The society hears it when it has blasted and a life has been lost. And we wonder how could a person who used to be so nice, do you see how people are usually shocked? That person was so polite, so nice, in fact. And then you get shocked. I was also in harm's way then. The way I knew that lady. And have you also heard of ladies who brag of infecting many people with HIV? And they post it like news. I infected 100 men. It's like a trophy. Psychopath, Bramwell. And you see people asking, this one guy I saw asking, I realized my girl is positive and I'm negative. She realized she's okay. When we tested, she came out negative. The regular tests don't pick when a person is taking the ARVs well. Be very careful. The regular HIV tests, when a person's count for those cells is low, it won't show. It comes negative. Be very careful. When a person is adhering to the treatment, it doesn't show. And they are positive. My brother, this world, these are my brother. The only thing is, because they're taking medication, we were hoping by now you're getting married, you'll have learned, they're honest, they'll tell you. Many of them, if they are there, the treatment, the technology has advanced so well, those people can live normal lives. Imagine. They can even have sex and not infect, although it can infect, but in many cases it can fail to infect. This guy was all shocked because he has been playing with danger, endangering his health. When he asked the lady, what is it? She says, I knew if I tell you, you run away. That's a psychopath. They're so selfish, they don't care about your emotions. What if you come to discover? So let me now tell you how you shall avoid. You may, I'm not, it's not, although pre-25s I don't discuss with them. Maybe I just whip them in the buttocks. When you're 22, dating this guy, just shut up. Don't discuss madness. The mistakes they commit ruin their lives. And I always tell them, if you are impatient, if you are too impatient to obey the seasons of your life, go on ruining your life and don't tell me about it. I find it traumatizing. It's a guy we were to interview on our pre-25 mentorship show. Only tell us he has this girlfriend who's 21. Oh, go organize your life, my brother. Go organize your life. Take your time. Take your time. We don't promote that. One of the things I want you to see is this. You will know a lady has psychopathic or a guy has psychopathic traits when they look too cool and composed, unreal, in an unreal fashion. Naturally, you want a self-controlled person. Yeah. You don't want a person who is swinging without emotion, crying this, panicking there. You don't want that. That's a child. You want a person who is fairly in control, but you want a person who can feel mercy towards animals. One psychopath was collecting cats and killing them, and collecting the skulls. Some of them know if they kill people, they'll be in trouble with the law. So they kill animals. So police find a heap of skulls of cats. And neighbors report, yeah, our cat disappeared as well. How was it disappeared? You know, some even put them as trophies somewhere. They dig it in the backyard. The day you see a lady who has no feeling for animals can kick it and go on. My brother, not everybody loves animals. We are not blanketing. But if you see cruelty, okay? If you see cruelty towards innocent things, like birds and animals, it's not that the dog wanted to bite. If the dog wants to bite you, if the animal is attacking you, of course, in that case, you're defending yourself. But if you see a person who is almost irritated to see to just throw at dog for no reason. You see people at home when people are using animals to plow the land, to till the land. It's like they're taking out their anger on the animal. They're whipping it for no reason. When you see cruelty towards animals, the next thing, cruelty towards, well, less fortunate in society. The soldiers at the gate. You know, these psychological disorders are so common, people begin to think it's normal. When you see a person who insults the less fortunate in society, for no reason, who has a condescending attitude towards house helps, cooks, guards, soldiers at the gate, the support staff, the cleaners. You know, sometimes when you find a cleaner cleaning, you don't want to step on where they cleaned. Yeah. You're trying to, even if it's not possible, you're trying to show consideration by trying to step in a funny walking style. Yeah. Rather than just walking by, as if to insult their work. Sometimes you want to show it's one sign of maturity, Brahma, is a person who greets these people. Learn to say hi. Many of them will be happy to greet back. Learn to say, to show human decency to human beings. Bro, pay attention to that. You'll avoid, because psychopaths have no compassion for anything. They can assume whether you don't exist. In Africa and in Kenya, we have that habit of, you can be in the lift with a person and you don't greet them. We have a funny habit of not greeting.
Yeah. Matatu is the worst.
Imagine. We have a funny culture of not greeting. When you go to developed or decent people, you realize that greeting is the normal. Because you are acknowledging my humanness.
Yeah.
Hi, I notice when you greet a person and say, I acknowledge you. I see you. Also, have you noticed when children look at you, you are more tempted to just greet them? When children make eye contact, because, and yet you did not greet the adult to the child. You greeted the child. Because the adult didn't show interest.
Yeah.
The child looked at you in an amazed way. Children find everything wonderful. So just, they don't mind staring because they have no sense of shame. So to break the, hey, hi, you know.
Yeah.
And okay, learn to notice. It's not, they don't have to love children. They don't have to love lower people who are working in low jobs. They don't have to love the pets. They don't have to love. You don't have to have passion. But kindness, humanity, consideration. There's a time I saw a lady do something and I told my wife, that girl has psychological issues. It was just one thing that a person who is not trained will not pick it. But I'm trying to give you the signs. When you are dating this market, you could take home an animal. And one day we wake up to bad news that you have been killed. And when you have been killed, my brother, even if the person is in prison, you are dead.
Yeah. Prison does not resurrect.
Exactly. So I saw normal person would feel pain for another thing. All right. There's also another habit you have seen of people who are so they throw litter everywhere as if they're feeling nothing.
Yeah.
They can even pee anywhere. They can drop this anywhere, do this anywhere. Some of this, that's antisocial. That type goes to antisocial, but it's also psychologically sick. Many of them are antisocial. They want to go against the norms of society to prove something. I'll also tell you next time that I've seen that many people, even their sexuality, they go the opposite to annoy. They just do what they know will annoy you. Just to feel remember antisocial personality disorders, people with social tendencies, they want to go to rattle. So when you argue, when you now they feel the attention, they enjoy the attention, that they annoyed you. All right? So there are people who have genuine struggles. One day we'll discuss sexual disorders, so to show people that you can actually have a genuine emotional imbalance. A genuine one, which you did not cause. You have seen children who, it's difficult to differentiate whether it's a boy or a girl. There's an emotional imbalance, but it is treatable. It's like any other condition. It can be balanced chemically. That's one sign of people want to feel like they're a boy, they look like a girl, they look like an E. Even the genitalia could have problems. There are deformities of the genitalia. Just we have deformities of the hands, deformities of the legs. Deformities happen for some biological reasons and many complicated things. You heard that after the atomic bomb in Japan, children have been born with many deformities. Those deformities can appear in any side. You understand? So sometimes the area of sexuality is genuinely a blame a person out of not their blame. All right? But there's another side that this group you hear talking about sexuality that they don't talk about abuse. Abuse can make you associate being a boy with the pain because your father over-punished you as a boy. And he doted on the girl, loved the girls, embraced the girls. Many of these psychopathic, psychological problems emerge out of traumatizing childhood. You are hardened so much. You are mistreated until you learn not to feel anything. It's safer not to feel. Be very careful with a person who is in the armed forces or is armed or who is coming to your life and they had a childhood that was very traumatizing and they don't seem to have dealt with it. But the day a lady tells you the experience she went and they sound horror. My brother. Have you ever seen a person explaining their experiences and the whole room is gripped in fear? But the person is talking normally. You know that day my father kicked everybody. I remember someone was bleeding. I don't know, was it my sister who was bleeding? And everybody was like, oh my God. Is that a horror movie? But the person is describing it as if it's normal. And everybody is horrified.
Except them.
Be very careful. Don't tell me you married that girl so that you can help her heal. I will kick you. My brother, you are not looking at rehabilitation home. That is a career. If you have that passion, but in marriage, you want a person you can build with. You help them heal without marrying them. Who told you they have emotional capacity to be? You want to be our spouse requires a lot of emotional presence, emotional health. It's a lot of demanding. How can you expect from a person who's bleeding? They're still bleeding. How do you even place the demand on them to be available for you, to take care of you? It's even cruelty to expect a person who's hurting to love you. Cruelty. Can you warn single mothers to stop taking their sons as their husbands? On that note.
Thank you.
I saw somebody posting, I asked God for a man who will always love me, and he gave me my son. Yeah? I said, Chineke, poor boy. No, you're supposed to play your man. Can you imagine how much pressure is that? That boy can't love you.
Yeah.
That boy, he just wants a mother, not a wife. Hello? There's a difference between your man and your son. Let him be a son. One day he will grow and you'll be friends, hopefully. But he can grow and go away and decide you are not his personality. Children can grow and decide that you are not quite to their liking. They will respect you. Say, yeah, I respect that, but you're not too much of friends.
Yeah.
Oh, dad is coming around. Oh my God. Anyway. You know, the boys are like that. Even some of us, our dads are not so much of friends.
Yeah.
But we appreciate how they brought us up. We are thankful for their sacrifice. But there's not much emotional chemistry. That's different. We can be decent parent, son, without being friends.
Yeah.
I'll do what I have to do, but we don't have much to chat about. When you call, there's a reason. Hello, how are you? Yeah, we woke up well, everything's okay. Yeah, so I was telling you ABCD. But if it was your friend, hey, my boy, how have you been, man? It's been long. How is this? Tell me. If it's your friend, there'll be a lot of chatting, chemistry, friendship, energy. All right? So, we are saying, this person could... Sometimes, psychological disorders come from unhealed trauma. So, when you meet a woman who has never healed, don't assume that she's healing soon. Who told you?
Okay.
Are you aware there are people who never come out of the hospital?
True.
It's unfortunate. We really hoped they come out. But psychological people, many of them never get admitted anywhere. They walk around sick and it's getting worse and worse over time. They're not addressing it. They can't face the pain. They can't own up. They can't forgive. They go to drugs. They go to sexual immorality. They go to anything to try and look for anesthesia, to hide the pain. It complicates over years. They become psychopaths and feeling at war with themselves, and you'll be collateral damage if you date.
All right. There you have it, guys. I hope you've gotten this wisdom. How I wish we had enough time so that we can proceed with this kind of conversation. But we promise this is a topic that we have to revisit at some point. Remember, these are some of the things that Benjamin wants you to master so that you can avoid this kind of people in future. You have the knowledge, work on it. Thank you for watching Benjamin Zulu Show.